Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Chairman of TAIPEI, James Huang. 各位女士、各位先生，让我们欢迎外贸协会黄志芳董事长。
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Computex. I'm James Huang, the host of Computex. As the organizer of Computex, TAIPEI is honored to host global technology leaders. Today is particularly special as we welcome Foxconn to the Computex keynote stage for the very first time. Under the leadership of Chairman Liu, Foxconn has been undergoing a remarkable transformation, placing AI at the core of its growth strategy. From AI-optimized manufacturing to smart electric vehicles, data centers, and edge computing, Chairman Liu has redefined Foxconn's role, not just as a manufacturer, but as a global enabler of intelligent manufacture. With deep engineering expertise and a clear vision for the future, he is driving Foxconn to the forefront of the AI economy. But before Chairman Liu joins us, let's watch a quick video on Foxconn's AI vision. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in warmly welcoming the chairman of Foxconn, Mr. Yang Liu.
Thank you, James. Good morning, everyone. It is a pleasure to be here with you today. You have seen so many factories with so many robots running in our current factories. And these factories, later I'm going to show it to you that it has changed. It's changed because of AI. So, where's James? James is gone. Okay. Anyway, I'd like to thank James for inviting me to be here for this very important event, the Computex, to say something about Foxconn's endeavor in the AI. And after taking this mission, I've been thinking about what should I deliver. So what can our customer, our audience, will feel beneficial after hearing this speech. So I've been thinking about this. So, after so many days of thinking, finally I thought, I'm not going to talk to you about technologies because we have, very technical experts. They are going to talk about technologies. I'm not going to share with you our business in AI because some of it are confidential. But what I decided to share with you is the train of thoughts, how Foxconn get to this point with our AI factories. So, next, it actually all starts from here. About a year and a half ago, when we had our HHTD 23, we sit in the meeting room in a hotel with Jensen. And Jensen hand-drawn this picture. I look at this picture, I say, wow, what does it mean? Okay, ever since these pictures, the spirit is there, but it's changed, it evolved. So let's look at what we have done with a video that we prepared together with BCG to show you what we have gone through in the last year and a half. Let's play the video.
Foxconn is a leader in electronics manufacturing, highly automated and scaled worldwide. Now we're entering a new era, powered by AI. We call it Genesis. With our rapid global expansion, expert production technicians are rising in demand. But seasoned talent is short in supply. Our AI agents capture expert knowledge in areas like defect resolution and equipment tuning, handling 80% of the work, so humans can focus on the most complex 20%. These agents learn, adapt, and orchestrate production, improving cycle time over 10% while generating tokens that lay the foundation for agentic AI. To scale expertise across factories, we're creating next-generation robots that go beyond simple hands and eyes. Using NVIDIA's Omniverse, we train robotic brains using millions of simulations, making them instantly effective in the real world. We call this physical AI, a new form of intelligence that adapts and handles complex tasks with zero human touch. Genesis is a powerful foundation, combining innovative use cases, token repositories, and an enhanced tech stack to deploy AI at scale. Together with leading partners, we are transforming manufacturing. Foxconn Genesis. The next era has already begun.
Okay, so this is Genesis. And this is still a work in progress. So there are still things that are evolving. And through this journey, we come up with many new ideas. And the very first new ideas is about the future factories. You will have one physical factories together with two other factories, which are very, very important. One, we probably heard about the digital twin, the Omniverse digital twin factories. So before you create your physical factories, you can build your factory on Omniverse and practice it and optimize it through, without the actual factory being built. In the past, we thought, with Omniverse, that's already good enough. But with Omniverse, it can already create data. And with that data, if we use it properly with the AI factory, then we may be able to create a base set of model that can be used when the actual factory is built. So we think in the future, the factory will be like this, with the physical factory will appear the last. The first one you will have will be the Omniverse digital twin factory, and then the AI factory will be the second one. And once you have the model built and the digital twin optimized to a certain level, then you can have your actual factory. And that's the vision that we see for the future factories. Next. And what you have seen that with the BCG effort, we have gone through so many use cases. And these use cases, after accumulating many hours of work with our technicians, we have very important finding, which I would like to share with you. And before this experiment or this study, we thought, with Gen AI, we can maybe replace every human. But very quickly, we realized, no, it will not. If you look at this chart, the white curve is a human technician. How many times it will take the technician to try to reach to a certain level. And that's typical human. And with the blue and the green line, this is done with Gen AI's help. And you can tell with Gen AI very, very quickly, with 2 to 3 times of trying, it can reach 80%. But after 80%, look at the curve. It flattened. Okay. So the human can do much better than the Gen AI after 80%. So we come up with this temporary conclusion that with Gen AI, it can help for the 80% of the work. The rest of 20% will still have to be done by the skillful workers or technicians. Okay, that's a very important finding I would like to share with you. Okay, next. And because of the scale of Foxconn's factories, we have central divisions. And we also have many BGs. And the BGs, they have factories across the world. And how we can come up with an architecture that will be able to support this large scale and very complicated implementation. And the model, and at the same time, allows the model to evolve by itself. And it requires a very, very complicated, the architecture becomes very, very important. We're still, it's still evolving. But we think with this initial architecture, we should be able to get to what we want so that the model, the base model created by the central department can then be utilized by the BG's factory all over the world. And then they can continue to train with their factory actual data. And those data and the trained models can then feed back to the central model. And the model in the central can then share the result to all the factories in the companies. So this is the architecture that we come up with, and we think this, I just want to remind the audience that the architecture is very, very critical. It's not just the LLM itself. And how are you going to deploy the result of the LLM or the Gen AI is becoming very, very critical. Okay. So, next. While we're doing the smart manufacturing, we're at the same time working on EVs. And you probably heard of our HHTD, Honghai Tech Day. This is an annual event. In that event, we'll show to our audience our new EVs that we created in the last year. And the very first product that we delivered, we shipped to the market, is the e-bus. And with that e-bus running on the streets in Kaohsiung, with a lot of sensors in the e-bus, on the e-bus. And we collected a lot of data of the street. And very quickly, we realized that, how are we going to utilize this data? We started looking for some way to share the data with the government and with the enterprises. And then, we realized that a lot of so-called smart city applications, they all work in silo. On our next page, we're going to talk about the smart city platform to address that problem. But with smart EV, we are going to provide the smart EV platforms to our potential customers. And these platforms will include the onboard and offboard applications. And these platforms, we will open it up to our customers, and also we plan to open it to make it a reference design for our MIH members, okay? And we are almost there. And with Smart EV, the most recent news is that we made the announcement together with Mitsubishi. Mitsubishi will be the very first car OEMs utilizing our reference models. With that reference model, for our customers, they can use our reference models. Maybe 80% of their work can be eliminated. They don't have to do the 80% of the work. Only they have to put 20% of their effort in making their new EVs. And that's very, very common in the PC industry. A good reference design give a good foundation that including very thorough tests that are required for the systems. And with that test, that save our customers a lot of time. So that significantly improves the time to market and time to cost for our customers. Please stay tuned with this new EV announcement. Next, we talked about the smart city while we were doing the e-bus, and we realized that most of the smart city applications, be it smart transportation, smart hospital, or smart schools, or smart buildings, they all work in silo. They don't work together. And we realized that we need a platform for all these smart city applications to build on top of it. So that with this platform, it will connect the government, the enterprises, and the citizens through this platform. And this platform will support the not only the data sharing, but also the knowledge sharing. Okay. So with these smart city platforms, currently we are implementing it in Kaohsiung, and also we have a number of other cities in Taiwan is currently working with us on the smart city project. We also have cities outside of Taiwan working with us. So once we have the smart city platform done, I think sometime it will be sometime in a year, we can show it to you that, hey, with this platform, how easy and how useful it is to share data, and to share the knowledge between all these applications. Next. Therefore, with the smart manufacturing and smart EV and smart city, all these ideas came about because of that little drawing. Okay, and we've been thinking, wow, maybe this is it. We need AI factories to power these 3 smart platforms. That's how we put all this together. And we make these 3 platforms and examples of how AI factory can do, what AI factory can do. Okay. So we demonstrated this idea in our, even at the GTC 25. GTC 25 about these ideas. So you probably heard about 3+3 initiatives in the past from Foxconn. Now we add another 3. After the 3+3 to make 3+3+3 smart platforms becomes Foxconn's new initiatives. Next. With these 3 smart platforms, we need to find a model to support it. We've been looking for models that's adequate to support these 3 smart platforms. We keep looking and realize that most of the foundation models, they're all very generalized. Okay, they don't understand about manufacturing, especially the data. They're all numbers, but the numbers, from different machines means different things, and you have to have some understanding of this data in order to understand what it means. And with that finding, we also, together with EVs, also, it's not a general purpose LLM can handle. The general purpose LLM probably can answer, where you want to go, but would it know, if something going to break up, and the signal that sent from certain module means something will happen in the near future. And this knowledge and these tokens, they're all very, very different. If you don't have special training or special way of processing these tokens, it will give you not just illusion, holistification, but also illusions or wrong answers. So therefore, we thought we better come up with our model to support these 3 applications. And therefore, the FoxBrain idea comes about. And it's built on top of course, open source models. Currently, we're using Llama 3 and 4, and we sort of created high-quality, large-scale pre-training corpus. And Foxconn Kaohsiung data center will be used, and currently is being used, part of it, to build this model. And this first generation model specialized in reasoning, and that reasoning is a little different from the general reasoning because of the applications. Okay, so the agentic workflow for very domain-specific applications, and this is FoxBrain is going to develop to solve the problem I just described. And we plan to open it, to make it open source to the communities. Okay? And hopefully, through your joining the open source communities, we can make this model more powerful, more useful. So with the FoxBrain idea, we think, oh, now that we have the applications, the 3 smart platforms, we know that we are going to build a FoxBrain model to support it. Next. Then what do we build those things, those applications, those systems on? We look around, we realize, oh, NVIDIA is not just a chip company. It has a full stack of software to support it. And we realize that, with all the platforms that we talked about and the brand that we are going to create, the NVIDIA has a full stack to support us, to do that. So we're going to build our platforms on top of the NVIDIA AI software stack. Then the next one would be, what hardware should we use? Right? But with this, definitely it's NVIDIA hardware. So we need hardware to run it. We need a tremendous compute power to support it. And that's why you heard the announcement yesterday. Next. The AI factory will build the very first NCP AI data center. And this AI data center is targeted to have 100 megawatt of power. And the power, I don't want to use the word shortage in Taiwan. It's a very, very critical resource. So it takes us a couple of steps in order to build it up to 100 megawatts. So we will build, like 20 megawatts to start with, and then add another 40, in the next phase, then another 40, okay? Some of it will be in Kaohsiung. The other ones we will look around in Taiwan to look for, where we can get the power the quickest. Then we will build the data center there. Okay. So with all this AI-related, the applications, the brand, and the software stack, and hardware, and the computing power, all comes within the last 18 months. We've gone through all this journey, all this exercise to come out with the current status. Together, we work with BCP and BCG and NVIDIA and other partners to create the whole ecosystems. And hopefully, with all these ecosystems, we're able to become the leader in the AI manufacturing at the least. And if we're lucky, we can become the leader in the smart city platforms. And very, very likely that will happen. Okay? If that happens, we estimated the compute power that will be needed for supporting the cities, the smart cities, would be huge. So that's why, about a year ago, when people asked us, whether you see the slowdown of the compute power requirement, I told them, no, this is just the beginning, and because we see the applications is coming, and we also see the evolvement of the models. It will only become bigger and bigger, So don't worry. It will not slow down, at least in a foreseeable future. Next. This is another discovery that we had while we're working on the smart city. And we look at the demographic data. And we look at the issues in countries. And we realize that when a country become developed, what will happen? That if you look at the GDP paradigm or pyramid, the triangle that I'm talking about, when the country is becoming more and more prosperous, the pyramid or the triangle will shift up, leaving the bottom GDP empty. So after your country is becoming more and more developed, the GDP will become higher and higher. Then the low GDP work will have less and less number of your countrymen to do. So how do countries solve that problem in the past? They do it in two ways. One is to outsource the low GDP work to the low GDP countries. We have seen that in the past. We have seen the US outsource their work to Taiwan, and then Taiwan outsourced the work to China. And I remember when we outsourced our work from Taiwan to China about 40 years ago, the GDP there was about less than 1,000. And with their hard work, after 40 years, the GDP has grown over 10,000. So what happened? What's the impact to the society there? Most of people want to have a high-paid job, and the society is able to pay it. But what about the low GDP, low-paid job? Nobody will be interested. So, eventually they're going to outsource the low GDP job to other low GDP countries. Eventually, you will be running out of low GDP countries. Yeah, that's the limit. Another way to solve that problem is to import people from the low GDP country, the so-called immigrant workers. And this has been done in Europe, in the US, in Japan, and now in Taiwan. But that creates some social problems. But in the past, there's no other way to solve that problems. Now with the advent of Gen AI, we see a great potential of that. With Gen AI plus robotics, that will fill the void, the gap. And that's the opportunity I see. And that is a tremendous opportunities, with Gen AI plus robotics to fill the void or the gap when a country, they become more and more prosperous, the low GDP work will be done by the Gen AI plus the robotics. It's not the service, it's not entertainment. I think that's the real challenge for all developed countries. Okay? So that's a great opportunity for all of us, and I urge you and the countries, developed countries, the leaders of the developed countries, to watch the development of this very, very carefully. Okay. So I think that's the journey I would like to share with you. And as I said, we're not going to talk about the business. We're not going to talk about the technologies, just the train of thoughts, how we started and how we come out with the current stage. And as I said, this is going to evolve. And with working with partners like NVIDIA, and the technology leaders, we think with our collaborative work, we are able to accelerate that progress. Okay, so before I introduce, this talk is broken into two parts. The first part, I'm almost done with it. The second part, we'll have our special guest joining us. But before I introduce, that man, I would like to make a brief announcement that Foxconn will work with TechOrange to create Taiwan's leading robots community to drive innovation and industry growth because of that GDP paradigm shift syndrome. Okay? So let's just wait and see. Okay, thank you for listening. Is our guest here? Okay, good. Wait a second. Okay, let's play. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome the superstar of the AI industry and the leader of Team Taiwan.
Go Team Taiwan! 大家好。
I don't have to introduce him anymore, right?
I still love being introduced.
Jensen, I know you have a very busy schedule. Your keynote
I
yesterday
honestly
was
have nothing else
terrific yesterday. Yeah.
Thank you.
I remember the last time we had our HTD 23 together, we rode in with a Beauty and the Beast SUV. Do you remember?
Beauty and the Beast.
The car.
Oh, okay.
The car. In that car, I have to give you, let you know a good news about it. Has been chosen by Mitsubishi to become their car.
Wow.
And that car will be running on the road roughly about a year from now.
Okay. Okay.
With the luck you bring.
That's awesome.
And in the second half of the keynote, what I would like to do is to ask you questions and let you answer.
Okay.
Okay.
So you know, it doesn't matter what you ask. My answer is always the same.
I hope I will ask. Actually, I collected a lot of questions from the industries and from people who care about you, and compile them into 3 categories of questions. Right. Number 1 is business related. Do you want me to start with the business related stuff?
If we start with business related, I will go so long, and then we'll end with just business related. So let's start with business related. I'm afraid to hear about the other two.
I'll keeping under control. Okay. But it's not the question that you thought about the business. It's not about NVIDIA chips or system business. It's about the Team Taiwan, the very first question. What is Team Taiwan from your point of view?
Well, Taiwan is where our most important partners are. We've been coming here for 30 years.
Yeah.
And somebody did a count. We have 350 partners here.
350?
350.
Wow.
Of course, I don't know them all, but apparently, either directly or indirectly, we work with some 350 companies. And you know that the technology supply chain is incredibly deep here.
Right.
And it's much more complicated than people think. I made a movie the other day that I showed yesterday, and it just shows the breadth and the depth of technology that is here in Taiwan. And so, as a computing company, this is the epicenter of the world's computing industry. This is where it starts. And everything from the chips, of course, to the systems, and now increasingly, the pioneering work that is being done in the automation of robotic factories and building robots. You know very well, this is one of the largest electronic manufacturing regions in the world.
Yes.
And not only is it the largest, it's the most advanced. And the things that we build here are incredibly complicated. Now, you and I were talking about building GB200 servers. It has 1.2 million components. It weighs almost 2 pounds, completely liquid cooled. Each rack is a couple, $2-3 million.
All these numbers.
And
numbers.
Yeah, and so they're not that hard numbers. And just so you know, I rounded them all. It's 1.8 tons. It's 1.12 million parts. Yeah, so I rounded it up for your benefit. So anyways, the technology is incredibly complicated. In order to build one of those Grace Blackwell racks, how many companies were involved and how much robotics technology is actually involved? So if you look at the work that we've done. In the last 2 years since you and I were on stage together, starting to talk about AI and robotics, since then, Foxconn is using NVIDIA Metropolis for smart cities, NVIDIA Metropolis for smart factories, NVIDIA Isaac Groot for robotics, NVIDIA Drive for autonomous vehicles, NVIDIA Omniverse as the digital twin operating system for all of that. And yesterday we announced that we're going to build an AI factory for you to use, for me to use, and for Taiwan, the entire ecosystem to use.
Yes, yes.
And so now Foxconn is going to be a world-class regional cloud provider, AI cloud provider. And so look at the breadth of work that we do together now. It covers literally every, not to mention for manufacturing inspection agents with computer vision and vision understanding. And so everything from agents to robots to, robots with wheels, robots that are orchestrating robots to build robots, And so this is.
I've seen that.
This is
robots building robots.
Yeah, this is
in person.
This is literally Foxconn. This is Foxconn. One of the most advanced technology companies in the world. You just happen to apply technology to manufacturing. We apply technology for technology's sake. You apply the technology to apply for manufacturing. And so it can't. We shouldn't be surprised, but everybody should be deeply impressed by the technology of Foxconn.
Thank you very much. And
so did you notice? I just want to demonstrate something. It didn't matter what he asked.
No, I asked only one question, and that question. Let's wait till.
Go ahead and ask me about my jacket.
No.
No, I just want to demonstrate something.
Okay. I'm not going to ask about jacket. Okay.
No, I just want to demonstrate. It doesn't matter what you ask.
You answer the same thing. Okay. I see.
Because from there, I was going to talk about Omniverse and robotics.
Great salesperson. Anyway, my next question is: have you heard about TEMA?
From who?
TEEMA. It's an association, Taiwan Electronics and Electrical Manufacturers Association.
Did I do something wrong?
No. Oh, there's something he doesn't know. I was just made the chairman of TEMA. TEMA.
Well, congratulations.
Okay. TEMA.
Congratulations. Did you do something wrong?
I hope no. But anyway, it's the largest association in Taiwan with more than 3,000 members and accounts for over 50% of export value of Taiwan. Okay, aggregate number of workers in Taiwan.
I thought Foxconn represented 40% of export.
Well,
37%.
Because our business model, we're worldwide, so the revenue counted in Taiwan is only about half.
Okay.
Yeah. So TEMA is the association. I think most of the members are, most of your suppliers are members of TEMA. Mm-hmm. Okay. With this rapid changing AI industry, what advices do you have for your suppliers in the TEMA, as a TEMA member? Mm-hmm. Any advices for them?
Yeah, I do. It'll come to me in just a second. But I'm just going to have to start. I do. So let me make an observation. In fact, vast majority of the industries, the companies focused on industries, has largely been left behind as during the software revolution. And the reason for that is because you're obviously industrial because you understand mechatronics. You understand mechanicals, you understand chemicals, you understand the deep physics part, the sciences part of industry. That industry was formed out of the last industrial revolution. And Taiwan is excellent in those industries. But when software came, it was a brand new skill, and those skills were quite unusual and quite unnatural for these companies. Number one. Number two, first observation. The second observation is that when AI started 10 years ago, it was very interesting, but not very useful. Not very useful for the industrial companies. And the reason for that is because the AI understands English, but it doesn't understand physics, which is what you need. Everything that you do needs physical understanding, physical intelligence. You know, when I roll a ball underneath a car, my dog knows to either go underneath the car or go around the car. But the AI thinks the ball has disappeared out of this universe. And so we need to have physical common sense. Now we're developing both of those things. Now, why is AI so great? The reason for that is because you teach an AI, you don't have to program an AI. Software programming skills is no longer as vital as it was before. You have an opportunity to leap the software chasm and go directly to AI. In fact, I can prove it to you. Everybody is a software programmer now. The definition of a software programmer is somebody who programs a computer to do something.
Right.
That's a software programmer. Give me an example of somebody who can't tell ChatGPT to do something. And if you don't know how to even tell ChatGPT to do something, you say, ChatGPT, teach me how to teach you how to do something.
Yeah.
Isn't that right? And ChatGPT writes a very nice prompt and says, try this. And I say, okay. Isn't that right? Incredible. So this computer is now intelligent. And intelligent systems are easier to use. And now you have an intelligent system that's easier to use. It understands the laws of physics. We combine all of that into Omniverse. See how I came back again? It came all the way back into Omniverse, which you are using as a digital twin. Yes. Isn't that right?
Yes.
And within the digital twin, you could design your plants, you could operate your plants, you could simulate your plants, and plan everything before you operate it greenfield or brownfield.
Exactly.
Isn't that right? And so all of a sudden, every company in TAIPEI is now a technology company.
And has to be, right? Has to be a technology company.
It doesn't matter what you ask me.
Okay. Now, if I switch to ask
one-track mind.
Personal related questions.
It's going to come right back to TAIPEI.
Okay. I think for TAIPEI, I think they heard it, and they will have to keep up with the AI and transform themselves to have more and more software capabilities.
Yeah.
Right?
And in fact, look, every company needs to do what Foxconn did. When you and I first talked about AI, you didn't talk about AI and read about AI and kept thinking about AI. You just started working on AI. Just get to it. You know, of course, the technology 2 years ago is not as advanced as it is today.
Right. Right.
But you knew that. You knew that it was going to get better. You knew that technology was going to get better. Of course it does. It's getting better at 1,000,000 times every 10 years. 1,000,000 times every 10 years is like changing every day. And it is. AI is changing every single day. And so, but you engage it today with an expectation that these challenges that you're experiencing are going to get solved almost by itself. But you've got to get engaged right away. Everybody has to develop a system. We have a system available to you. You bring it to your company, and you know, Foxconn and I will build it for you. All the software is available for you. We're already integrated into all of your software developers, whether it's Cadence or Siemens or right, Dassault or Autodesk or whoever it is. We're already working with all of your software developers. Omniverse is integrated into all of that. Nemo is integrated into all of that. And so you could start trying AI. And it's amazing what you've produced in just the last couple of years. The demos you showed me, you know, your factories are basically complete digital twins, and they look so real.
Yes.
They look so real. Robots working inside it, incredible.
So in the past, we have physical factories. Then we use Omniverse to create digital twins.
That's right.
And then we realized we need AI factories to
That's
support both of them,
That's right.
to make it more and more powerful. And all these changes evolve so fast. And the reason why it's evolving so fast is all because that man, you, created chips running so fast and advancing so fast every year. And my next question for you, do you see any limit in terms of hardware speed, for the AI?
Remember, Moore's law ended. Moore's law ended because we're at the limits of physics. And so the cost of the transistor is going up, as it should. The energy efficiency of the transistors and the processors are not going up very fast, understandably. And so we have to try different skills and different techniques. And so we're developing multi-chip packages, 3D packages.
Yep.
One way to do that. The other way to do that, of course, is this incredible invention called NVLink, where we connect all of these chips together into one giant chip. The size of the wafer is probably, like this.
Yeah.
And so all of these chips are working together as one. We used advanced mechanical systems and liquid cooling systems to compress the systems into one giant rack.
Yep.
But very importantly, software. Our architecture and the algorithms that we're developing on top of it allows us to reformulate the AI models, reformulate how the work is distributed across these supercomputers. The networking, of course, is a big challenge and a big opportunity. Instead of passing information back and forth, we could do in-network, in-fabric reduction.
Yep.
And so, we all send our answer together for us to combine all the answers. But why don't we just send it to the network? The network combines the answers and already sends it back to us, so we don't have to receive it. So we reduce the amount of traffic, like practically in half. And so all of these clever ideas combined has allowed us to improve AI performance tremendously. People say it's about, 2x every 6 months. I actually think it's probably working faster than 2x every 6 months at this point. It's probably like 2x every 3 months. The combination of all these things, I call it full stack, but basically you're innovating chips, innovating systems, innovating at the data center, innovating the operating system of the data center, and innovating the model all at the same time.
So from what you see so far, only the sky is the limit. Looks like it.
Only the sky's the limit, and this is the really amazing thing, Young. So there's the computer industry that was created. And remember, the first time I realized this was going to be an industry, that the computer industry was going to be, was when Bill Gates, in one of his interviews, and he was so young, it was 1984, maybe 1985. I heard an interview where he said that Microsoft is not a maker of word processors or spreadsheets. It's a manufacturer of software. And at the time I heard it's a manufacturer of software. What does that mean? Software is so easy to manufacture. You write one copy, and the rest of it is duplicated, okay? And the rest of it is free. And so how would you create an industry where everything that you produce is free? Well, of course, he invented licensing.
Yeah.
And so I didn't realize what he had in mind was a whole bunch of lawyers. But more importantly, what he meant was there's a methodology, there's a production methodology associated with software, and look at all the software they produce today. It was a visionary idea, and now it's $1 trillion industry. Well, our industry, remember, AI is a great technology, but AI is also an industry in itself. Just as software, you got spreadsheets and word but collectively, software is an industry in itself. AI is going to be an industry. However, the AI is going to be produced by factories. And so now you just have to think, how large is the automation, agents and robots industries that we'll support? And every one of those agents and robots will need factories to produce the tokens for them at all times. I think that we've unquestionably discovered, invented, created a new multi-trillion-dollar industry, which is the reason why everybody's so excited about it.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, so the time is running short.
I'm trying
I have so many other
much
questions.
as I can to exhaust all of the time.
Thank you, thank you. Then I'm going to skip some of the technology-related questions. I'm going to go to the personal questions. I hope you will not be offended. Okay?
Let's take a technology question.
In China...
Everybody knows all my favorite restaurants in Taiwan anyway.
No, it's not that.
Everybody knows where I'm going to be this afternoon.
It's not that. There's an old Chinese saying that every successful man stands a terrific woman. I'm not going to ask you who that woman is. But I want to ask you, do you
I hope it's the same one I have in mind.
So, do you want to say something to her? Openly?
Openly? I say the same thing to her every day. Love you, honey. That's it. And so anyways, I met her when I was 17 years old, and she had just turned 19. And so I dated an older woman for most of my life.
What part of the States you met her?
Oregon.
Oregon.
Yeah, we were lab partners in electrical engineering.
Oh, lab partner.
Okay, so imagine the odds. Imagine how smart you have to be to achieve this, okay? So there are 250 students in electrical engineering fundamentals. There were only 3 girls. I was also statistically impossible. Not only that, it is very clear who's the youngest person in class. I was 128 pounds going to college.
Whoa.
I graduated at 132 pounds or something like that. Okay? I was 128 pounds. And so I looked like a kid when in a room of adults. And so I just went up to her, and I noticed this beautiful girl in the class.
Listen.
And I went up to her, and I used my superpowers.
Superpower?
Because I knew, just looking at the audience, who everybody knows what my skills are. And so I just told her, would you like to see my homework? Because those are my superpowers.
The homework.
Everybody has superpowers. And so I also told her that I don't know what grades you have, probably very good. However, if you study with me every Sunday, I promise you'll get straight A's.
Every Sunday.
And so I had a date every Sunday.
Oh, I see.
Very smart.
Yes. Yeah, that tells us the reason why he is so successful starts from age 17. Okay, not just now. Okay, my last question for you is that everybody is curious about your jacket, but I'm not. Recently, your watch is becoming very popular.
I don't know.
You don't know. Where's your watch?
I don't wear a watch.
But on the news, is that fake news?
Yeah, it's fake news.
Oh, really? Oh, that's a fake news.
Yeah.
Then I had to tell my wife,
Yeah,
that's a fake news. I'm not going to buy you a watch at that price. Okay, that's a fake news.
That's it? No, that's fake news. I don't wear a watch.
I see no watch.
I don't care about the time. Right now is all that I would care about. That's why I don't wear a watch. I'm 100% right here.
Okay. He really confused me. Is that watch news a fake news?
It's probably a fake watch.
Okay, thank you very much. We're very happy to have you here, and through the conversation, we know the other side of Jensen, and hopefully it will help you, to know Jensen more besides his chips and his success in his business.
Well, my chips are pretty good. and don't let me. But if I could say, Young, I am delighted by our partnership. obviously, we're manufacturing the most advanced computers the world's ever seen and ever known. And during our meeting yesterday, one of your leaders said, no one has ever manufactured systems this complicated. But very importantly, no one has ever manufactured supercomputers at this rate.
Yes.
Most of the time, you plan a supercomputer for 3 years, and you build one. We're cranking it out every hour. And so the idea that we're doing this at the scale that we're talking about is extraordinary. But that's the work that we do together for my benefit. The thing that I'm really excited is that you then use this incredible AI technology to revolutionize, transform Foxconn.
Yes.
And also to make it available for all of the Taiwan researchers and students and other startups and all the industries. I think it's a great example that you're showing. It's great that you're revolutionizing your own company with technology. You were an amazing technology company already before. Now you're an extraordinary technology company. And then everything that you do for Taiwan. So I'm very, very grateful.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Jensen.
Right.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
谢谢，拜拜。